I'm going to join 3.15 and 3.16 into one little conversation here. So 3.15 simply says outline, maybe state, how a mutation can lead to a new allele. And it's pretty simply explained, especially when we're talking about sickle cell anemia. So let's do that real quick. So we're still talking about this base pair substitution idea. So if you remember, genes are carried on chromosomes, and you have a chromosome from your mom and a chromosome from your dad, something like this. Actually, we're going to talk about this is chromosome number 11. This is where the hemoglobin gene is located. So number 11 here. And a location on that chromosome will carry a certain gene. Alleles, if you recall, alleles are a form of that gene. So if we're talking about sickle cell, I'm sorry, let me try this again. If we're talking about the hemoglobin gene, there are two forms of that. You can have a healthy one, or you can have a sickle cell one of your hemoglobin. Right? You can have those two forms, healthy or sick. Now, we use a certain notation when we talk about this. HB stands for hemoglobin, and the healthy form, we write a little a above the HB. And then the sickle cell form, also the hemoglobin, right? HB, but the allele is different. The form of the gene is different, and we identify that as HBS. So if we go back to this, the base pair substitution caused a mutation in our hemoglobin gene, right? It made it different by one letter. And it changed its function. It changed its characteristic. So the two alleles, right, in 3.15, it said, how can, or explain how a mutation can result in a new allele? Exactly this. So we had a healthy hemoglobin gene, and now we have a different form of it, which is the sickle cell. So because you have two chromosomes, you can have two healthy forms, right? You can have HBA. No reason. Maybe your mom gave you a healthy one and your dad gave you a healthy chromosome. But not necessarily. This could be the HBS. Maybe you have one of each. Or maybe both your parents gave you the sickle cell form. Erase that. So you could have two HBSs like this, right? And these definitely have different effects on your health, and which we're going to find out in activity, how much prevention it gives you against a disease called malaria. So HBS is a form that you are definitely going to be suffering with sickle cell anemia. This is a combination of alleles that is not very good. However, evolution says if people are dying and they're sick, we shouldn't continue to see this form of alleles in the population. So why is it still here? The reason is if your parents gave you one of each, if your mom gave you, for example, HBA, and your dad gave you an HBS, this combination gives you malaria protection. And what we've seen in areas of the world where malaria is high, this allele is in a higher frequency than we would expect because more people are surviving the malaria because they have that combination of both. And that is how, two things, that is how having a mutation can give you a different allele, and how those allele changes can eventually lead to a form of evolution.